1. Good evening and welcome to tonight's school board meeting of the Fort Wayne Community School Board. We begin this meeting as we do each meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now we have roll call of members.
Good evening, Steve Corona from the 5th District.
Julie Hollingsworth, District 1.
Jennifer Mathias, District 2.
Ann Duff, Member at Large.
Riley Booker, District 4.
Noah Smith, District 3.
Oh, sorry. I'm still playing with my computer. Maria Norman, Member at Large. And to my left, we have Dr. Mark Daniel, Superintendent, and Angela Filler, Clerk of the Board. Tonight, we begin with awards and recognition. We do have the Indiana All-State Elementary Children's Honor Choir from Croninger and Weiser Park. It is recommended that the board recognize Croninger and Weiser Park Elementary Schools for their participation in the Indiana All-State Elementary Children's Honors Choir. Members of the 2023 Indiana Music Association All-State Children's Honor Choir are chosen by audition. This year, over 400 auditions were submitted for this choir by music teachers across the state. Students rehearsed and performed with some of the best young singers from the entire state of Indiana at the January Music Educators State Conference. Please come forward as your name is called so we may congratulate you. First, we have Croninger Elementary. We have Celine Ariello. I probably butchered that. I'm so sorry. Ariano. And then we have Amari Cash. And then we have Brianne Flanagan, the music teacher at Croninger, and Rachel Mers, the principal at Croninger. Any parents?
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. Oh, yep. Oh.
Thank you.
One more.
Oh. Yeah, congratulations. Then from Weiser Park, we have Jesus Diaz, Zaxon Hartman, Zulia Macias, Andia Washington, Anadia, thank you. And then we have Miss Baster, the music teacher at Weiser Park, and Principal Melissa Plum.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Noah, you want to take the next one?
Sure. She's not here though, right?
Oh, yeah, she isn't. Is it okay to skip that one? Okay. Sorry, Noah, to steal your thunder.
Can we do the next one?
Sure.
Right.
Both, okay.
Okay.
It is recommended the board recognize our Nelson Center High School state runner-up Amelia Reinhardt for placing second in the IHSA girls diving competition. Amelia couldn't join us today, but she would have been represented by herself, Chris Giant, and Chad Histong, principal, Chris Giant being the coach. We're also going to recommend and recognize Center High School Juliana Ocampo for winning the IHSWGA State Championship title. It looks like they beat her up pretty good walking up here. Julianne's the first female in Indiana history to qualify for the boys' state wrestling finals multiple times. She had a score of 106 for the second straight year. Julianne, a winning season, finishing 44-3. So accompanying Julianne Ocampo is her coach and father, I believe, Sam Ocampo, and athletic director Steve Zimbo is here on behalf of Chad Hisson. Congratulations, Julianne.
And Juliana, are you coming back to Snyder next year, or are you graduating?
She's only a sophomore, right,
She's a
Julianne?
sophomore.
Oh, nice.
Sophomore, all right.
What'd you hurt? Right knee, okay. Well, we hope you get better.
Yeah.
Congratulations on a great season.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Keep going.
Sure.
It's also recommended the board recognize Snyder High School student Al Capone Vizi for placing second place at the IHSA State Wrestling Championship. Al Capone Vizi, I've also heard him referred to as Pone, placed second this year's State Wrestling Championship. Al Capone had a great season for the Panthers, finishing 41-2. Pone is here as a student with Coach Sam Campo, and again, athletic director Steven Zimbo. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
The kid that beat you is a senior, right? Sal, the kid that beat you? No. Okay, so you got, yeah. We look forward to seeing you on the football field, too. And Pone, do you mind sharing, don't you wrestle internationally, too? Step right there to that mic if you don't mind.
Yeah, I do. I wrestle in World Team Trials in about a month or two.
How's I've read or seen where you've had a little success there?
Yeah, last year I All-American both styles. I hope to win it this year, though.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Good work.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so that takes care of awards and recognition. So we are now to the consent agenda, which is approval of the minutes from the regular meeting on March 13th, vouchers and payroll, and the personnel report. Is there a
Move approval of the items listed under the consent agenda, Madam Chair.
Second?
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Julie. Dr. Daniel, anything on the?
No,
No?
nothing.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. All those in favor of approval of the consent agenda?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We have no old business, so we will move to new business. Oh, there it is. It is recommended that the board approve the agreement between the Fort Wayne Police Department and FWCS for the purpose of continuing the School Resource Officer SRO program for the 2023 school year, or calendar year, I'm sorry. The FWCS SRO program started in 1999-2000 school year with a pilot program at Snyder and was funded initially by the COPS federal grant. The grant expired in 2004, and the program was then funded entirely by the Fort Wayne Police Department. In 2006, FWCS and the FWPD entered into a cost-sharing contract, which provided 6 certified SROs. The 2023 contract total is $172,290 and will be paid in 3 payments of $57,430. This program assigns a full-time trained police officer at the following middle schools: Jefferson, Kikianga, Lakeside, Memorial Park, Northwood, and Portage. And at the direction of the Fort Wayne Police Department and FWCS, SROs may be assigned at any FWCS location. Michael Manuel, Director of Security, will be available to answer any questions. Is there a motion on the floor?
So moved. Second.
Thanks, Ann. Thanks, Jennifer. Any questions for Mike?
Come up with one, he's ready.
I know.
How was your day, Mike? Anything else? Good.
I do have a question, and I think I know the answer to it, but do we have SROs at each one of the high schools as well, but this just covers the middle school?
River. So we have, for this contract, we have 6 SROs on this contract from the city, and all 6 are in the middle school.
Okay, yep.
Do we have other contracts in? with
No, but we have a total of 9 SROs.
Okay.
So we have 3 we have 1 on ESSER dollars, and we have 2 that are our full-time employees, and those 3 are all Allen County Reserve Police officers.
Yep.
And Kathy, is this the operations or education fund this comes out of?
Operations.
All right, we got him one question. We good? Okay,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thanks,
thank
Mike.
you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So that was a short business meeting. We now move to reports to the board. The Jim Kelly Career Pathway Center is a partnership between Fort Wayne Community Schools and the Boys and Girls Club of Fort Wayne. Tonight, Shanita Bolton, Director of the K-12 College and Career Readiness, and Jesse Webb, Director of Career and Technical Education, will share with you the exciting things happening at the Jim Kelly Center. While there, 7th and 8th grade students are able to experience all 5 pipelines within a 2-year period, exposing them at an earlier age to the pathways that they could experience in high school. Good evening.
Good evening, board members and community members. I'm Mr. Webb, Director of Career and Technical Education here for Fort Wayne Community Schools. So just wanted to give you a quick overview of the Jim Kelly Career Pathway Center. We started working on this project, I would say, back in the spring of '22, and worked very diligently in the fall here to kind of set up kind of a pilot program and springboard into what we were hoping will be very, very successful here in the fall of '23. So the Jim Kelly Career Pathway Center is a partnership between the Fort Wayne Community Schools and the Boys and Girls Club. And Boys and Girls Club, in that center, we have 5 different areas, 5 different rooms: automotive, health science, information technology, advanced manufacturing, and construction trades. So currently, we are working on a pilot program, and we do have a quick little video here that we will show, and I'll talk a little bit more about that after the video.
At Fort Wayne Community Schools, we are once again opening doors to help students discover their passion. Hi, I'm Superintendent Dr. Mark Daniel, and I'm excited to introduce to you our latest student experience, and this time it's for middle school students. Welcome to the Jim Kelly Career Pathway Center. Here, students will be immersed in labs where they'll take part in real-world experiences and learn about careers. This will help them to be more focused on what they need to do in high school to be successful in those career pathways. Again, hands-on learning. For more, here's Assistant Superintendent Dr. Joe Brown.
Thanks, Dr. Daniel. This spring, you are going to take part in 2 of the 5 experiences here at the Jim Kelly Career Pathways Center. They are information technology and advanced manufacturing. In the future, the Career Pathways Center will also offer automotive, construction trades, and health sciences. So what exactly will you be doing? Let's head downstairs to Career Academy Principal Jesse Webb.
Hi, I'm Mr. Webb, Principal of the Career Academy. This is going to be fun. During the Information Technology Lab, you will program spiral bolts to race in an obstacle course. Create a robot that has the potential to draw using little bits and experience augmented reality with merge cubes. Have you ever wanted to weld? Well, during the Manufacturing Lab, you will be using a super cool virtual welding simulator and learning 2 types of welding that are used in the industry today. You will also use Tinkercad to create 3D designs and make a fidget spinner on a 3D printer. These work-based learning experiences can lead to a career pathway in high school or at the Career Academy. They can also open doors for internships during your senior year. We hope you're excited to come and experience the cutting-edge learning experience at the Jim Kelly Career Pathway Center. See you soon. Space that our students, middle school students, get to work in, and I would like to thank my partners in crime there on the video. Very well done. So, one thing that we are doing right now is we're in the middle of a pilot program with 8th graders from Memorial Park and Tolles. Some of the responses that we've seen from students after we've given them a 2-question survey to follow up, we asked them on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being pitiful and 10 being amazing. How would you rate your experience today? Those responses varied from 6 to 9.9. And I think there was one response of a 6, and it was basically, it's not my thing. The second question we asked us was, tell us more about your rating. What would have made it a 10? So some of the responses that really stuck out is to have more time, get our fidget spinners today, because I think the first group didn't get their fidget spinners. And then if we could have had more time with virtual reality, VR. And then just some of the additional comments that I wanted to share with you guys. One student said, I thought we were just coming here to listen to y'all. Another one said, I love that this was all hands-on. We heard that numerous times. The list goes on and on. One says, I wasn't bored one time today. We try to keep them, active the whole entire time. And the welding seems to be the big hit of everything. And we have competitions, and I will tell you that the females, the female students, dominate in that competition. So we've done a March Madness bracket at the end of almost every one of those, and the females come out on top if there is one in the bracket. So. Another one said, I didn't know anything about what we were going to do today. So you can just see that the kids are having fun. They're getting hands-on experience, things that they would not do. So we are piloting, as I said, with Memorial Park and Tolles with just 8th graders. So they will go through in March. They'll either go through the IT area or the manufacturing. And then in May, they'll come back and those groups will flip so that they'll get to experience both of those. So what does the future look like for our students? All 7th and 8th grade students will experience all 5 of those pipelines over a 2-year period. So 7th graders will, right now, we're planning on having them basically do what the pilot group is doing right now, information technology and advanced manufacturing, and then in the spring. And then 8th graders will experience automotive, health science, and construction trades in the fall. This will allow them to pair that up with JA JobSpark that happens in November, and then also give them time in the spring for their high school planning with high school guidance counselors, and if they want to take any tours of either AMP Lab or Career Academy to gain any other experiences that they might be interested in. So the impact on those students is going to expose them at an earlier age to the pathways that they could experience in high school. How do we get them interested in those talent pipelines here in Allen County, all those high demand career fields? It gives students a glimpse of the career and technical education programs that we have available in our area, in our region, and then ensures equity for all students by ensuring that all 7th and 8th graders get the same experience and information. And all of them will go through all 5 because a student doesn't know what they don't know. They may think that they're interested in health science, but come down to it, they may be more interested in advanced manufacturing. So just giving them all 5 of those areas to look at and experience. And then staffing and evaluation. We have currently hired 3 pipeline coaches to help support the work that is taking place right now. They are all 3 retired CTE kind of industrial maintenance or industrial manufacturing teachers. So we walk them through kind of a training on all of those simulators, and they've done a ton of work at home to update themselves with the technology. And they're having fun with the students. And they're used to high school students. They weren't really used to middle school students. But after every visit, when I talk to them, they say that our kids are absolutely amazing, and that not one time have they had any issues with our students. And part of that, I think, is we're keeping them on task and hands-on. It's small groups. We take 28 at a time, so 14 in each group as they work through kind of those different experiences. And then our evaluation, as I stated right now, it's just a 2-question survey just to kind of see what those students are experiencing. But as we look at full implementation in the fall, a lot of the preloading of activities and information will be done in their homerooms and through Naviance, and then follow up with our post activities in Naviance and in homerooms as well. So just a lot of experience for students so that they can help kind of choose what pathway they want to go to in the future. Any questions?
So, remind me, advanced manufacturing is available at Northside? I mean,
we're working on a robotics and automation type of program there.
Okay.
The Connexus program that we did have at Northside no longer exists because that teacher went over to the East Allen Career Center.
You know, the other 4 pipelines are all at the Career Center, and I know there's been some talk about you being able to add advanced manufacturing. I was just wondering how
So we have
close
precision.
we are to be doing that.
We have precision machining that we dual enroll with Ivy Tech. The numbers are low there, so hopefully this helps us build that capacity up.
Okay.
So you said 28 kids at a time?
28 kids at a time, yeah. We're finding, the original plan was maybe to have 50 students going through at a time, and we've really found that the smaller numbers are a lot better because the students get more hands-on activity. So just kind of working through what that looks like in the fall and in the spring, trying to get 2,100 8th graders through in the fall. It's a lot of visits, and then 2,100 more 7th graders in the spring. So I just finished what the fall might look like as a schedule, going every Tuesday and Thursday before I came here today. So it's about 28, 29 days that we're looking to fill up just on those experiences.
And so they'll come in for a half day, a full day?
It'll be a 2-hour time period, and we're looking at 35 to 45-minute activities at each station.
And how many times do they get to experience that?
Unfortunately, with the amount of students that we have to put through there, they'll get 1 time as 7th and 8th graders, but they'll go through all 5 areas through the 2-year program.
And then is there, you said that the evaluation, there was some pre or post work in the classroom. Is there any pre or post work in the classroom regarding the visit itself, or just discussion, or?
There'll be some discussion. about what their experiences were after there. But a lot of the preloading information and kind of some of that afterwards is, what are those careers like? What's the income? What's the schooling? Can you go straight from high school to a successful career in that industry, or what's the pathway that you need to go post-secondary wise?
So I go next year as a 7th grader and the following year as an 8th grader, and I get all excited about welding. And I go to Snyder because that's where I went, but I can't go to Anthus until I'm a junior.
So we're looking at how does that line up with maybe a principal's course, maybe in the 10th grade. So you're building on kind of that experience, and you're not having to wait, a full 3 years till you build on kind of what you learned or experienced as an 8th grader.
So Jesse, did you just say that as a 7th grader, you go one time?
One time as a 7th grader, one time as an 8th grader.
Okay, so if I'm a 7th grader coming in the fall, I will hit 2 of the...
Right now, we're looking at, in the spring, the 7th graders will hit advanced manufacturing and information technology.
Okay.
And then when they go back as 8th graders, they'll hit those other 3 pipeline areas.
So they're there 2 hours,
Yep.
one time for the year.
Yeah.
Okay, so are they there, is Fort Wayne Community Schools at the center only 2 days a week? Is that what I...
Only 2 days a week right now, yep. So that's something I think that we kind of have to see what next year looks like, and then maybe renegotiate our partnership and look at... Huh?
Is that by our design or their design?
Kind of ours right now, looking at the number of testing days and how many days students would be out of the classrooms. What's the most feasible for them to have a really good experience, and not trying to put the burden on those middle school principals and teachers to have them out all the time. So I think it's something that we continue to look at and revise as the program grows.
What's been your biggest surprise?
It's been my biggest surprise, just pulling it all together. Honestly, no, I think watching the students just have fun and smiles on their faces and enjoy just being active with the technology, and I think I've seen one student that said, I don't want to do this.
But that's okay.
And that's okay. That happens. But to have one out of, let's say, 200 that have already went through it, that's a pretty good experience. So I just enjoy watching them interact and kind of the fun and the competition they have with the welding. I don't think they realize how fun that is until they're sitting there doing it.
So,
Ready?
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Are there any thoughts about, like in the future, maybe running any summer programs or summer camps?
So last year we did some CTE summer jumpstart programs for Gear Up students. We are currently kind of figuring out what that looks like for this year. Those same programs that did it last year are interested again this year about how do we expand those and grow those so that it's open to more students across our area.
I will add that the boys club, girls club will be utilizing it when we're not there. So they'll be using it after school hours.
That
So
was
they
my...
can reinforce it. They have actually other equipment. Some of the equipment's, is all of it boys club, girls club now?
No, so we've moved a lot of our Gear Up equipment over to that facility, and we have it tagged so that we know that it's our equipment that's being used. So kind of just building on that aspect. And like Dr. Daniel said, Boys and Girls Club has other, I would say, members, community partners that go in and use that facility. So we've asked for kind of extended days or more days during the week, and I keep hearing, well, we've got this group on Wednesdays now, we got this group on Fridays now, so it's filling up fast, and hopefully, in the future we can say, no, we need 3 solid days a week.
Jesse, hopefully this will help generate more student interest in the programs that you have currently at the Career Academy. Is there any thought to doing sort of a 8th grade, I don't know, information day, and you may already do something. My son's only in 6th grade, so I haven't gotten that communication yet. But is that something that you're thinking about doing to maybe introduce what the Career Academy does have?
Yeah, some of the conversation that the administration at the Career Academy has is how do we have a career and technical education open house, maybe in the spring, or do we do it in the summertime, or do we do it in the fall? And really just open it up so that parents and community members can come and see what we do there for students. I think it's always beneficial when they see students at work in those programs, but if we have to just open it up when there are no students at that time, we'll do that as well. At least they get to see the facilities and see what our students get to work with.
Yeah. So you just said that there are other people filling in the gaps right there, because we're there 4 hours a week.
In some of our pilot days, we were there 6 hours. So,
Okay. So
yep.
there's a large chunk of time that we're not in that center. So, and you also mentioned that you have some of your own Gear Up equipment there. So are the entities that are coming to that center using our equipment as well?
No.
Okay, so.
Our equipment gets locked up in cabinets that are in each room or in storage areas. So it is just our equipment that is getting used by us. And then we are able to use the Boys and Girls Club equipment that is there as well.
So how much is our equipment versus what they have?
Right now, through the pilot program, all of the equipment except for, I want to say, 3 or 4 virtual welders is all of our equipment that we're using right now. So as we work with Dr. Brown's staff on what those activities look like for the fall and spring of next year, how do we utilize the equipment that we have, but also the equipment that the Boys and Girls Club has.
So are they going to have the other pieces of equipment in that scenario, or is that all coming from us too?
No, they have other equipment in there. So when you look at the video and you saw the automotive room where Dr. Daniel was in, all those ATEC boards that are in there right now, those are all Boys and Girls Club. And then all of the 3D printers that were in the room that Dr. Brown was in, those were Boys and Girls Club. So you didn't see any of our equipment in there because we didn't have it over there at that time. That was all Boys and Girls Club equipment. And a lot of it is duplicated to what we're taking over there as well. So it just gives us more equipment to use with more students, break those groups up into kind of partners or single use so that they're getting more time hands-on.
So you said we have 3 employees, 3 pipeline coaches. Are they all 3 there for that full-time for those 2 days that we are there?
Yeah, they're splitting a one position, those 3. So currently they've been there every day. You know, there are some that I think in May, one or 2 might be out a day. So we cover with either myself or one of the curriculum coordinators, just covering kind of whatever activity we need to. And then each day there's also a college and career readiness student advisor from the middle schools there. I would say on average, all the visits we've had, there have been, I want to say 6 to 8 adults with 28 students. So really good supervision, making sure the students are hands-on and really doing what we want them to do.
All FWCS employees or volunteers, like a field trip parent can go along type thing, or?
Yeah, we'll take those. We haven't had any volunteers yet, so that's one thing I think we can look at in getting them there to help supervise.
So the big picture eventually will be, as students are, if you remember the portrait of a graduate, which is, we'll start to solidify that process. So what are those career, if you will, we're gonna most likely call those schools of. So you could have a school of advanced manufacturing, engineering, technology. So this is a way for kids sort of to be introduced to those particular careers through this model, but also through Naviance. So when they are, you know, I'll just say my dream would be we may have an 8th grade through 12th grade program that might be in health sciences and say social services, where an 8th grader starts working on high school level courses that would then have dual enrollment. So by the time they graduate, instead of a CNA, our kids could actually be an RN through Ivy Tech or some other post-secondary partner. But that starts, it doesn't start your 8th grade or 9th grade year. You have to start thinking about that much earlier. It's just it's the flow of where 21st century pre-K through 12th grade's heading, and how do we better equip our kids for that. Now, at the same time, I like the fact that I want kids also involved in co-curriculars. So how do they still do that and still be involved with this type of, so that means you have to start planning in 8th grade because they're going to have to take summer school classes, probably through Ivy Tech, or we're going to have to be able to teach dual credit classes in a synchronized manner to all 5 high schools while one teacher's teaching, say, at location A. But they're teaching 120 kids simultaneously with only 25 or 30 kids right in front of them. So we're going to have to think very differently, but this is the beginning of that process of how do kids, remember the middle school model is how do we gain experiences for them? And then they actually have work-based learning as they head towards their high school years, specifically their junior and senior years. Therefore, we're truly moving towards 100% of our kids that potentially could be credentialed or ready for that next step, because I would say anything in a post-secondary certification is a credential, and that's where I think we'll probably lead the entire state in this process. So this is just scratching the tip, we're just at the tip of the iceberg right now in this process.
So this is not necessarily, well, you both have mentioned Naviance. Can you explain that to us a little bit more?
Do you want me to explain it? Well, hello there.
Good evening. So for those of you who remember in years past, we used Indiana Career Explorer as our platform. A platform that the district discovered with counselors and with students was not very engaging for our students. And so it's been a year ago. Jack and I did a lot of research, had a lot of presentations, also with Dr. Daniel, Dr. Robbins, and we moved to the platform called Naviance. And so we utilize that middle school level as well as our high school level, really focus on introducing students not only to career interest surveys, finding out what their strengths and weaknesses are, and then better preparing them for post-secondary success. One of the great things about this platform is that students build their own profile and resume within here. It does it automatically based on what they are saying they're most interested in, things that they've participated in. So it's not getting to the 9th grade level and beginning from scratch. High school counselors can see what they've done along the way in middle school and where their interests have lied, and helps us better serve, counsel, and guide those students to some post-secondary success, whether they're going to college, going into employment, or enlisting into the military.
So I'll also say along that, as we look at the advisor-advisee time, and we're not exactly settled, what is that? Is that 20 minutes? Is that 30 minutes? I'll just say, right now, I'll just pick Snyder. Snyder has advisor-advisee every morning. It's roughly 30 minutes long. Mr. Hissong and his team coordinate that. They turn that over to you spread all your kids out, and each teacher then will have an advisor-advisee time. Part of that would be, okay, how do we bring in career exploration? How do we use Naviance on a continuous basis? Maybe not every day, but on a continuous basis throughout the year. How can they do FAFSA phenomenon? How can they do Century 21 scholars? All those things happening in that space. As well, this tool is also used to help assist in registering for classes. Now we've had a little bit of bumps in the road, i.e. how can we make this process faster? But again, you've even seen some state legislators discuss this. Every student should have an opportunity to sit down with their guidance counselor and talk about what their future is going to be, and it needs to be mapped out. So this is a tool that enables that. I would hope maybe the state would actually contribute to that cost, but right now we're gonna do it as we need to do it to get the job done.
How do we do that advisee period consistently so that our students who are not, or at AMP or at AMPUS in the morning, and that's happening in the morning at our other schools, how are those students being served?
So currently with the Career Academy, I know that we set aside every Wednesday morning so that they can go through their Naviance activities for those students. And that includes out-of-district students that attend the Career Academy as well. So we give them a username and login where they can create those activities as well.
So part of the issue though is I'm at one of our home schools, they go here, they have 2 accounts, they have 1 account, we probably need to figure that out and streamline it. So there's 1 account per kid. Correct me if I'm wrong, do they not? 1 account. So as such, this profile, which has your resume, it has your recommendation letters, it has your references, it has all that accumulates into this particular database. Do they have access to that after high school?
So yes, it does have an alumni component to it as well. So they can utilize that because it's not only used at this platform, but also with their scholarships. College applications are done through there as well. So students really, it's a one-stop shop for our students as they think about college and career readiness.
So we'd like to see this really roll out and we become better and better at the usage of this tool. But again, it's one of several tools used to move a student down the path of what are you going to do after high school? Enlist, enroll, employ.
I still think there's a time issue, though. We have kids who are in school all day long who do that every day for 30 minutes, and Jesse just said they do that on Wednesdays.
But not Naviance every day.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, there a lot of different things.
Well, I know that that's this year, and we just implemented, and I have a student going through that, so I had some concerns on how are we supporting those students who are at AMP and at the Career Center at the same time that the other kids are having advisee periods every day.
How many kids are using this program then?
All middle schoolers and all high schoolers.
So you guys can see on the back end who's utilizing it, how often they're utilizing it, that kind of
Yes, and we actually have our middle school student advisors along with the instructional coaches, and then our Gear Up student advisors at the high school level going into the classrooms and into those homerooms, advisee periods, doing those lessons with students. And then Jack, on the technology side, they are able to run reports of usage and data. We can actually see the last time a student's logged on or an adult's logged on.
And I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question. The kids can use it after high school or
Yes, the alumni component of that, they can utilize that.
for how long a period of time?
I think we set it 7 years was the last conversation we had, unless that's changed. But the last time we talked about it, we said 7. But I can follow up and see where we're at on that piece for you.
And that starts right at 6th grade?
That starts at 6th grade, that's
So,
correct.
How are parents informed of, like, I don't know, the findings, the strengths, the weaknesses, and that sort of thing?
Wonderful question. We are at that point right now where the technology department is working on the end of this academic year, rolling into the summer, to roll out the parent portion of this, just as they did Schoology, because parents can also access the account to see what students have completed, see where their interest lies, their strengths and weaknesses. You can also see if they haven't completed something.
Okay.
So is this a web-based program or specific to the FWCS computers each kid gets?
No, it's web-based.
So they can log on to any computer and check it out?
Yes.
Thank you.
So will the district have access to those students in the alumni component once they've left the district?
Yes, we will. So one of the great things about this is it's not only used just in regards to what those interests have been or where they've applied, but the district can use this also as an alumni database as we think about how are we reaching out to alumni, whether that's for giving or contributing, tutoring, whatever it may be. We'll have that information.
And we also could potentially see what path they have taken. then.
Correct. Which is the bigger component for us. Because if you look nationally, you can track where a student's going to college or to their university. We can't track employment. And so it's really important that we have a database that's able to do that based on where students say they're going.
All right. Any other questions? Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Shanita.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That brings us to board member comments. Steve?
I remember November 9th, 1989. I had an executive committee meeting, board meeting that evening, and I came home and Tom Brokaw was on television and was announcing that the Berlin Wall had come down. But I was already ecstatic because the board had voted 7-0, probably the first time on a controversial issue that year. It was the first year we moved to an elected board, and on some tough issues like racial balance, it was a 4-3 vote. But that evening we voted 7-0 to hire a consultant to look for a superintendent. And we ultimately hired Bill Coates. And as you all know, he passed away last week. And my comment was that Bill brought us out of the 60s and stayed here for about 3.5 years. They were very raucous years, tough school board meetings. I did not look forward to going to a school board meeting. We dealt with tough issues. We got through it, and Bill went on, and as you know, he started a charter school business in Arizona and Michigan, and I got to see him a couple of months ago. He invited me up to a staff meeting, and I'm not sure why. I still don't know why. And then he asked me to speak. I'm sure, I don't know why, but he believed in many of the things that we believed in, and that was to really close the achievement gap between students. And he had a great heart, and we're going to miss him. Bill Coates.
Nothing, thanks.
I have no comments tonight.
I have a few comments. I believe I talked to you about the tunnel of despair that some of the Memorial Park Middle School students, actually the ELL students, were building. It was for them to learn about homelessness, especially with the homelessness within Fort Wayne Community Schools. And so they researched different services homeless people can use, and just learned many different things. But they also built this tunnel, and a month ago they proposed to the library, can we construct this tunnel here so that people can go through and learn about homelessness, and there would be QR codes at the end so they can learn more or donate to various agencies and things like that. So today is when they constructed this tunnel, and it was really impressive watching these kids work. It was made out of PVC pipes with this black tarp put over it, so you have to go to the library this week and check it out, or go over spring break if you're staying home. But they had it down to a science. They were just putting all those pipes together. They knew exactly what they were doing. Put the tarp on, put lights on it so that it would shine when they go through there. And put signs on, which the students created the signs and the artwork for it, and their QR codes and things like that. So it was really neat watching them work, and it just involved so much more than reading, writing, and one person was working the electric drill because they had to put in screws to put up the light strands above the tunnel, and so it was fun watching them. But they knew what they were doing. I told the teacher, man, they are on it. And she said, well, we practiced 2 times in the gym. They took it up, put it down, put it back up, took it down. So they knew what they were doing. So that was fun to watch them. And they got a lot of press. 2 different news channels were there, and the library had their camera going around shooting all the details and interviewing the kids. And they were kind of nervous talking, and I went up when nobody wanted to volunteer. I went up and told them, they can't edit anything out of that. So just if you mess up, it's no problem. So that got them prompted to start speaking in front of the camera, knowing that they could make mistakes. The other thing I went to was Friday was the use of force training at the Public Safety Academy put on by the police department, and it was for our security committee here within Fort Wayne Community Schools, as well as the students' Friday tie day, right? So groups of boys from Wayne and Northside, I believe, were at this training as well, and it was very eye-opening because they showed us that, you know, cops aren't out to shoot people all the time, and you know, they told us the statistics that they've only you know, had to fire their guns like 4 times in a year. You know, that's all there is. It's no more than that. But they do have to make split-second decisions. So they, you know, you got a better understanding of how quickly they must have to make a decision. A lot of the boys were volunteered to be the police, who then had to, you know, make that decision. Do I pull my gun and shoot? What do I do when this, when I pull somebody over for a traffic stop, traffic violation, whatever? So that was very interesting. I think it was eye-opening for them and me as well. But I think what was more interesting, eye-opening for me, was one of the activities we did at the very beginning, where we wrote down 3 things that we're afraid of. And we wadded that up and threw it around the room, so that at the end you came up and you had another wadded up piece of paper that wasn't yours, and you read those 3 things. And the point of the activity was to see that yes, you have something in common with other people in this room. Like my 3 things were fear of heights, fear of flying, and fear of having bad health. And so I went through them around the room, and the one I opened up, sure enough, someone else was afraid of heights. But what was more eye-opening for me was that the police officer who was teaching the class in the front had a wadded up paper that I'm going to assume was from one of our students, and their fears were, I'm afraid someone's going to be following me at night. I'm afraid someone's going to be, my house is going to get broken into. And that was very humbling for me. I mean, my fears, I don't need to go any place that's high. I don't need to fly if I don't want to. My fears I could easily avoid, but these kids, I think that was, you know, truly their fears. So that was really eye-opening for me to see that. So, and very, like I said, very humbling. So it was a great experience for, I think, everybody involved.
Thanks, Ann. Riley?
I have no comment.
No comment. Have a spring break, that's my comment. Have a good spring break.
Dr. Daniel?
Yes, so want to wish safe travels for all of our families, students, as well as our staff members. Spring break's coming up as of Friday, so that's a wonderful time. Also, I'm pleased to inform that we have another school that's been adopted by Love Our Schools. So it was Adams Elementary, specifically focusing on some of the things that were noted in the newspaper article in regards to Adams and what happens nutritionally during the weekend. So that will be a focus for that building. Tomorrow night we actually have a kickoff, they call it Cafe, for Levon Scott Academy. So we'll have that going on. And again, appreciate the community embracing our schools. And lastly, looking forward to our continuation of our discussion on health and safety, specifically the referendum. And I believe, is it this Thursday? Wednesday. This Wednesday we'll have an executive session to have more of that discussion where we are in the planning for, and it tied in directly what I heard Friday with you, Ann, was you need to have significant others in the building where students can go to talk to can report to have confidence in and confide in. And again, that is the ultimate, but we need those people, and we don't have those people currently. As you just voted on SRO officers this evening, we have buildings who do not have that kind of staffing. And I think that's very, very important. So again, looking forward to that time together on Wednesday. Thank you.
I don't want to end on a sad subject, but today the 100th and 29th mass shooting in our country happened in Nashville, Tennessee, at a private parochial school there. And 3 students were killed and 3 staff members were killed. And so I just think that whenever these mass shootings happen in our schools, it always just hits my heart. And so just our thoughts and prayers go out to those families in that school district and that community in Nashville. And I just think that as we begin to talk about safety conversations in our community, I'm glad that we are being proactive rather than reactive, and very thankful that we haven't had anything happen within our schools and within our buildings. So that is all I have.
Move adjourn, Madam President.
Second.
Thank you, thank you. All in favor of adjourning the meeting?
I got a cheer banquet to get to.
I was wondering.